Hi, my name is Aaron, this is my show Reeducation, and society is on a decline. The decline from being into having, and having into merely appearing. That was Guy Debord when talking about The Society of the Spectacle, a book that he had written back in the 1970s that perfectly outlines a framework for which our current society is basically structured. And even though I could probably go on for hours explaining different facets of this book, I'm going to try to condense this presentation into something measured in a little bit closer to minutes rather than hours. Now, without any further ado, let me see if I can explain The Society of the Spectacle. Now, I'm not going to quote the book in this video, but what I am going to do is I'm going to try to give real-world parallels that kind of explain how the Society of the Spectacle works. So I like to start off by explaining that we as individuals need things. We start off in life needing things like food, clothing, shelter, that sort of thing, but once those needs are covered, then we move on to our higher needs. Say a pair of shoes. Shoes are wonderful, shoes are very important, and it's something that really helps your feet when you're walking around on hard, uneven ground, but it's not necessarily something you need to buy all of the time. And under capitalism, if you're not buying things all of the time, then that business isn't making money. Or worse, it could go out of business. So, it's in the incentive of every capitalist to make sure that they are producing for you products that you will always need. So even though you buy a pair of shoes, they work for you perfectly, they are not damaged, and you don't need a new pair, you might see a new pair of sneakers from Nike be released. And, well, since they're a reputable brand, and Nike has always made good shoes as far as you're concerned, you might want that pair of shoes. But what about novelty running shoes that come in separate different colors, or have light up backs, or happen to have a higher top than the other ones? All of these arbitrary differences allow for you to have varying choice in whatever product you want to buy, and hopefully will force you or encourage you to consume more products more often. That is the goal of capitalism. You're artificially creating need. And you can see this in other industries as well. For example, De Beers, back in the 1930s, launched a marketing campaign that convinced all of the men of the day that the only way that they can really show affection for the girl that they fancy is to buy them a diamond ring and marry them. A diamond ring isn't necessarily a need, if anything. It's fabricated. It's created from whole cloth into this thing that we culturally believe is a necessity for marriage. Of course, selling goods is fine and all. You can sell a ring or you can sell a pair of shoes, but marketing a lifestyle behind those shoes or that ring is really where you make the real money. I mean, selling a couple of t-shirts here and there or a couple of sneakers once in a while is nice, but being able to cultivate somebody's identity and make them basically a cash-giving machine, well, that, of course, is going to be the number one goal. Now, somebody that talks about this in great detail is Peter Coffin. Now, Peter Coffin came up with a term called cultivating identity. And that is basically what corporations and companies like to do. It's not good enough that you just buy, say, a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. You also have to buy all of the t-shirts and accessories that go along with it. Of course, it isn't good enough that you just, say, buy a motorcycle. You can't just be a biker. You have to project bikerness out into the world. You can't just have a motorcycle and ride it to be a biker. Oh no, you can't just be, you have to also have. So you also have to have all of the t-shirts, the swag, the bandanas, all of the accessories for your bike, the little skull knobs and shit that you like to decorate the wheels with, and all of those little things. But that still doesn't really make you a biker now, does it? Because you've went from being to having, yes, but you haven't gone from having into appearing. And to appear as though you are a biker, then you have to completely internalize the culture. You have to be a part of the mass group. Now you've gone from just being somebody that likes to ride motorcycles to being a biker. The same thing can go for a gamer, or a Lord of the Rings fan, or a Trekkie like me. It isn't enough to just enjoy Star Trek. You also have to buy all of the little toys. And after you've bought all of the little toys, then you have to be part of that group. You have to identify as the Trekkie. And once you've done that, once you identify as that group, as that thing, then all a company needs to do is market your lifestyle to you. It's really simple. Star Wars is a perfect example of this. Again, see Peter Coffin's video linked in the description. Now, of course, selling t-shirts or swag or things like that are important, and it definitely does make money, but it's kind of thinking small term, when really we could be looking at things on a much larger scale. Why sell people just simply novelty toasters or sneakers when you could sell them their political ideology or even national identity? But what do I mean by that? It's not like you can just sell people their national identity or their political ideology. It's not like you just, create a bunch of American flag t-shirts or MAGA hats. Oh wait, there is that too. It definitely can sell swag. But it's not necessarily about selling people those small little bits of kitsch. What it's about is selling people to corporations. Politics doesn't work just to sell you things like Trumpy Bear or the thin blue line bumper sticker that's on the back of your car. It works to sell you as an individual to corporations. That's the thing. Corporations already own and control the government. They own and control the politicians. They are bought and paid for long, long ago. So the politicians, through the use of the media, convince you to make decisions that are against your best interest and in the interest of them. This, of course, is called manufacturing consent. It's kind of like this whole society of the spectacle thing is the theory of everything when it comes to all of the topics I've been discussing in the last few months. But once you create these identities, now society is more interested in these identities than the things themselves. That means that taking a photo and Instagramming your healthy breakfast is actually more important to you than eating that healthy breakfast. The image and representation is favored over reality. So cultivating identity doesn't just deal with our consumption of goods. It also deals with our politics, our belief structures. And when politicians and the media manipulate us to convince us to do things that are against our interest, manufacturing our consent to do things that are in the best interest of them and not us, then we are basically participating in the spectacle. Now we can think about this in different terms. When you think about the word Beyonce, are you envisioning the brand? Someone that's immaculate, spectacular, amazing, a pop star, a millionaire, something that can sell shoes? Or are you thinking about them as an individual, as a human being? When you're thinking about Wendy's, are you thinking about that waifu anime character that makes quips on Twitter, or are you thinking about a disastrous multinational corporation that feed people cancer and exploits their workers? Which one are you paying more attention to? Are you paying attention to the spectacle or the reality? Are Democrats free speech hating, gun control loving, baby murdering sissies? And are Republicans a bunch of racist, Nazi, fascist, corrupt monsters? Or is that the spectacle? Are they actually just groups of people made up of individuals with individual wants, needs, ideas, and beliefs? We pay more attention to and only tend to deal with the spectacle and not human beings. When we fall into the trap of what the politicians and what the media and what the corporations are wanting us to say, think, and do, and believe, then we are succumbing to that spectacle. And the spectacle is a spectacle of illusion. At least that's the way I look at it. My name is Aaron. This is my show, Reeducation. Thanks for watching. Oh, and if you do get a chance, please check out my Patreon. Every dollar does help fund this show, and it makes it a lot easier for me to make frequent content. Thanks for watching.